Birds play many roles. They are scavengers, predators, seed dispersers, and ecosystem engineers. Beyond their wild talent, birds are essential to us humans, providing us food and fertilizer. But there are some challenges putting these creatures' natural heritage at risk. Welcome. I am Esther Makwariola. And before we begin, let's bring you updates from the world of environment.
The inspection began at Obalende with officials making a stop at Dodon Barracks to assess the progress in clearing the drainage paths. They continued to Ikoyi, removing fences obstructing drainage paths and marking areas for demolition. Then the team moved to Okiafa, where structures were demolished for violating the rules. Although the community took the government to court, it was struck out, enabling authorities to enforce regulations.
Know where your land is situated, if it's even a commercial area or a purely residential area or even a mixed-use area. Then if you now say you want to start building, there are requirements you must meet beyond physical planning. Then you come to Ministry of Environment and say, okay, I want to have a drainage clearance certificate. That will tell you, okay, this your property is on this axis of this, maybe a primary channel or a secondary collector. Then you have to do this to give us a setback for it. But where we came from today, none of them had approvals at all. In fact, they covered up the secondary channel part, 100%. So we had to do it.
And then to Magodo, where it was observed that some buildings were erected on wetlands. This, the commissioner says, won't be taken lightly.
The reasons why they created wetlands are all known to all of us, to hold rainwater, to hold wastewater, and then release it to the lagoon when the tide is low, and to avoid flooding. So the moment you start clogging that space, you are inviting flooding. If you go around to say, okay, you've gotten a building plan approval to build, you still come to environment. I won't grant you the approval you require. And once you don't grant you the approval, you can't go ahead.
As the government works for a flood-free city, collaboration between the people and government is crucial to safeguard the environment.
Hours before the operation begins, the vicinity witnesses a heavy presence of security personnel. Moments later, demolition trucks roll in, taking down shanties and other illegal structures along the corridor. Occupants scramble to salvage what they can, while onlookers observe the reshaping of their surroundings.
Ogun State is known everywhere as the industrial hub of the nation. We cannot continue to harbor all these shanties and garbages here. We are taking another dimension with the composition of a special task force that is moving all over the state to ensure that we have a very, very conducive environment for the people and for investors and for all people that are likely going to do businesses with Ogun State government.
Some members of the community expressed their approval, believing that removing illegal occupants will give the area a much-needed facelift.
Kara area is supposed to be a prime area, but unfortunately, due to negligence over the years, it has been taken over by all sorts of characters. It has become a place where drug peddler and the likes have thrived over the years.
For the communities around here, I'm sure we're going to have respite from criminal activities. And apart from that, the environmental impact of the activities, if you look at it, is just a large dump site. So with this cleanup, we expect to see a difference.
As the dust settles, the transformation along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway reflects the ongoing efforts to balance safety and community development. The long-term impact of these actions remains to be seen as the government's commitment to positive change unfolds along this crucial corridor.
Nigeria is home to more than 900 species of birds, 5 of which are endemic. One of such is the Ibadan malimbe, an extremely rare songbird. Only found near the city of Ibadan in Oyo State, the Ibadan malimbe serves its ecosystem as a natural pest deterrent, consuming various insects in the woodlands and gardens. Breeding season for this species is between May and August. Its population is about 2,000 and rapidly declining due to deforestation. To address the challenges faced by the Ibadan malimbe and raise awareness about the importance of birds to the environment, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture initiated a bird festival. This event aims to sensitize the public, especially young adults, on the value of these feathered inhabitants.
Children, they are future leaders, and they are also a very good tool to dish out information, to reach out to people, to reach out to their parents. Because when you bring them up at the early stage, they tend to grow up into it.
You can see the legs of the bird. It's blocked by the tree. Yeah, so you have to move. The leg is long, yellow legs. So we've seen a big bird. It has yellow bill. We don't want to end the discussions of conservation among experts, academics. No, we want to take it to the everyday Nigeria. You go to the other parts of the world today and you see kids are already interested in camping, knowing insects, birds and all that. We want to get to that point so that we can be conscious and have a collective effort in conserving our natural resources.
Birds are very important to the environment. They indicate the state of the environment. They tell you what is going on in your environment. They also let you help your environment to be healthy. You know, there are some birds, they are sanitation agents. They clean up the mess in the society, the mess that would have caused deadly diseases, viral, infections. They clean it up. And for some birds, their own is just for pollination, like the sunbirds. They suck nectar from here to here, so they cross pollination of plants, and with that it will bring increase in food. Some take care of the insects while you are sleeping there on your farm, feeding on pests that could affect your farm produce. Habitat destruction is one of the ways that birds are being driven into extinction, because when you destroy their habitat, breeding becomes very difficult for them, feeding becomes very difficult. It's just like humans. When there is famine in a town or in a society, people tend to migrate to other places. When the economic situation is not favorable, then people will start jackpying, And same thing is applicable to birds. For those that cannot jackpot for birds, they will end up dying because there is no food for them to feed on.
Despite the vital roles birds play in maintaining ecological balance, negative perceptions threaten their existence in this part of the world. Overcoming these challenges is crucial for the conservation of Nigeria's diverse avian population.
I keep telling people, when you hear house around your environment, it means your environment it's infested with rodents, because that's what they feed on at night. So when rodents are not available around you, then owls find it very difficult to come to, because they have nothing to feed on. So why are they coming? So we had one of the teachers, when I asked for what is her perception, what has she gained about this event, and she said initially she was seeing birds as evil. Now she's gotten more knowledge about the importance of birds, and when she hears birds now calling the house, she will not say Jesus anymore. So we are trying to citizen science education. It's something we need to do. We are doing that with the Ibadan Bird Club. We bring people every last Saturday of the month to educate them about birds. We go out bird watching, talk about birds, and it's been growing since 2016 when we relaunched the Ibadan Bird Club. Right now on our list now we have over 800 members.
Different cultures have different beliefs, and some of them are myths. If you go to communities and you discuss with them, some of them are myths and stories that were told in time past as entertainment or based on the beliefs that they have at that time. And further discussions, you might even learn more about some of these cultural beliefs. Are they all sustainable? Not necessarily so. And so we need to understand that culture is dynamic and that we can adjust our cultures to become more sustainable when we realize that it's becoming a threat to some of the things that we depend on for our well-being.
The highlight of the Bird Festival unfolds in a dance presentation showcasing the beauty and significance of these winged creatures. Students from public and private schools in Oyo State participate, learning how to protect and preserve nature's valuable creatures for future generations.
The birds, they have feathers, they have beak. The beak is used for picking their food. The feathers is meant for maintaining their body temperature. The eyes of the bird sometimes is used for predator, like if anything wants to happen to them, they will be able to see it easily.
And I also learned that they are wonderful creations which should be appreciated.
Our generation, my generation, we messed up a little bit with the climate. We have climate change and now we need to change. So the younger generation can save all of this and they can spread the word around it. So that's why we target younger generation. If we, for example, build a new house and so we also have to live, we should just not concrete everything over. We should have some plants, some bushes, some grass, some trees, so that the birds can also have their environment there.
In a world where rare songbirds like the Ibadan Malimbe face threats, the call to action resonates. This comes in the midst of efforts to protect and celebrate Nigeria's rich avian heritage, ensuring that the wings of these remarkable birds continue to grace our skies for generations to come.
Green Angle returns in just a moment. Stay with us. The climate and soil conditions in this country create a favorable environment for native trees to thrive. Most common of them are neem tree, moringa, and African palm. Now, planting these trees provides support for different kinds of life in the forest. They also provide shade, timber, and medicinal properties. A forest conservationist, Kunle Olashopo, gives more insights on this.
This forest is actually a secondary forest. The anthropogenic activities that people have been doing here is more of farming. People have been, like you, cutting down the natural habitats. Sometimes people cut down the trees to make charcoal. People do a lot of construction. So all those ones, they are more of anthropogenic activities. Sometimes people go to kill animals. So you collect some plant parts, maybe for medicine or for consumption. So those are the anthropogenic activities that I mean. So human impact. So when a natural forest grows by itself, so it's being called a secondary forest. So that could allow some alien plants, some exotic plants, those ones that are not actually native to that environment, to that natural ecosystem. The challenges we've been facing so far in this forest is, so far it's not a natural forest, that is a natural regrowth. So we've been having challenges to have a lot of gaps in this forest because the exotic species, those ones that normally that have invasive property, so they cover some areas. They don't allow some other things to grow around them because many of them, they have some what we call allelopathic property. So they will have some sort of chemicals they release naturally around their environment. They don't allow some other things to grow around them. So that is why they will now be the only one in that area, turning a tropical forest to more like a temperate forest. Like you get to a temperate forest, you are going to see only one species in very large area of land. But the beauty of a tropical forest, most especially the natural forest in Africa, is to have diversity of plant. You can see obeche very close to Iroko being close to another mahogany. So that is the beauty of the African forest. In our checklist in our ITA, we have over 270 species of birds, so over 200 species of butterflies, 48 mammals. So like the mammals that you are talking about, which is the wildlife, like we have the blue duiker, like a small antelope. We have that. We have the tree hyrax, we have the marsh mongoose, we have the pangolin, the endangered pangolin in this forest. We have it there. We also have a lot of squirrels, a lot of ground squirrel. We have these flying squirrels also. We have them. So we have bushbuck, the giant antelope that is common to West Africa. We have the African civets. So, but different types of mammal that we have, there are 48 in types in our checklist. So also we have 28 reptiles like the snakes, the monitor lizard. We have like the rock python. We have the green and black mambas. You have to be somebody that is skillful. You must be knowledgeable about trees. Just like me, the way I know about trees is just about me going to the college. It's not that enough, but the passion in me, seeing something green. So, but in line with the knowledge that I've had now, what I understand is that you will have gone to different habitats, different places. Let's say now, the kind of tree you are going to see in Ibadan metropolis or Ibadan forest and the northern part of Oyo State is quite different. So like when you go to somewhere like Edo State, so it's going to be different. So Ibadan is just like a mixture of savanna and forest area. So when you go to Edo State, you are going to see a lot of bigger trees, a lot of mahoganies, like a real natural forest. So if you have those ideas, you will know that this is a savanna tree and it's fitting for certain area or the other. So there's no way with the knowledge, the skill, and some of the literatures that you expose yourself to and you build partners, you should be able to know that, okay, this one fitting for this. Like we have some trees that show preference to rocky areas. There are some trees that show reference to like stony areas. So a lot of trees show reference to water area. They are water-loving trees. So when you plant them in a marsh area, they survive very well. Just like in Lagos, when you see Lagos like Lekki area, so there are some species of trees, they can only survive in that kind of mangrove forest. So without that area, there's no other place for them to survive. In this forest, IIT forest that we have, is the only one that we say is protected, the only one remaining as the remaining urban forest that we have in the southwest Nigeria, most especially being protected in the aspect of protection. So go out of this place, no other forest that has been protected, and if they are protected, maybe they are protected for farming, maybe for logging activities. So there's nothing like we are struggling with nothing less than, from literature they will say we are struggling with 3 to 4% of forest lands. You know, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the world, they just put it that there's a standard. They put 25% of a nation land area should be considered as a forest area. So, but in Nigeria now we are struggling with less than 3%. So it's quite low. So we don't even know we are not even sure whether the 3% still exists. Because when you go out there, you go to the forest, you are going to see an open land. We could start from creating awareness, most especially to the young generations. So like IITA runs school conservation clubs, and everything we do in terms of restoration, the seed collections, we also do it here. So let's do the awareness, the publicity, whether on Twitter, every different means of like publicizing it. Let people be aware of our own trees, most especially competition within the urban centers. People can plant our native trees. Like a lot of junctions are named after local trees, like Ibadan or Lagos. You will hear Idi-Araba, Idi-Obi, Idi-Oro. They are all our native trees. Idi-Ori, like Phytex toniana. So those are the things that we should do. We should bring them back to be close to people, like encouraging people to have home garden, keep home gardens, plant some trees that will not disturb your property, like destroying your fence. 1 or 2 is okay, just for 1 plot of land is okay, because a tree, it is been proven scientifically that a tree will supply the required oxygen for 4 people. So if you are a couple, you have 2 kids, so you are fine with 1 tree. So you could do a kind of urban planting. Let it be sensitized. Also, the government should also contribute to this. They can sponsor habitat restoration. Some of this, a very big vast area of land that has been destroyed, and it should be native trees. Not that a public figure will now be planting something like all these alien plants. We are not from California. We are not an American. We are not from Europe. We are Nigerians. We are Africans. So we should plant our own native trees, and this will now be a very good abode for our living organisms, for our wildlife, for our butterflies, for our insects, and different things that we have that God has created in our natural ecosystem.
They'll climb on it, they'll scratch it, and then it will now bring out lots of ants. Yes. I visited that place in Omo, and that's what the
And that's about it on this week's edition of Green Angle. Until I come your way next time, remember, together we can build a sustainable world. I am Esther Mokwariola. Bye for now.